In Viveka Chudamani, Sri Adi Shankaracharya says Jantunam Narajanma Durlabham Tato Pumsatvam Tato Viprata Tato Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata Vidvatvam Tasmat Param Atmanatma Vivechanam Swanubhavo Brahma Samsthitihi Shatajanma Kotir Sukritair Vina No Moksham Siddhyati Yata. This idea of being born as a human is the rarest of the rarest blessings. Because out of 84 lakh species, we could have been born as any one of them. But we are born as human beings, that is Jantu Nam Narajanma Durlabham. And what else is special about it? He says Tato Pumsatvam. To be born as a male human is a better blessing, he says. Tato Viprata. And being born as a male is not enough. You should also be Vipra, means the one who is educated in our Vedic traditions. Tato Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata, and then following the traditions, not just reading the scriptures and by hearting it and taking pride in it, but actually following the path of Vedas, Vaidika, they call it. And not just that is not enough. This is how he continues saying that having done that, you should also you should be able to develop the panditya in that, develop the wisdom, just not bookish knowledge, but practical understanding. And what is practical understanding? Atmanatma Vivechanam, to be able to discriminate between what is real, what is unreal. That is the benefit of learning this Vaidika Marga. It helps you to discriminate between what is real and what is unreal, in the sense between the world and God, between Jivatma, Paramatma, and that relation. But that is not enough. Even if you discriminate, the next thing, better blessing is Brahma Sthitihi, Samsthitihi. That Brahman, the knowledge and the experience of Brahman is greater than that. And after that, he says that Muktir no, this Mukti, which we aspire for as the ultimate goal of our human lives, having been born as humans. Animals are not aspiring for it. Humans aspire for it. That is not possible. Shatat Janma Koti Sukritair Punyam Vina. Without the punya of hundreds and crores of human births, not animal births, having struggled to learn all these things and then finally being able to experience Brahman, which is where Mukti lies, is not possible without hundreds and crores of births of efforts. Na labhyati, doesn't come to the person. This is the glory of a human birth and the glory of using it right. A lot of people are born as humans, but they are what we call as narapashus. They are more animals than humans because they are only interested in ahara, nidra, bhayamaitanancha. They are only interested in food, sleep, and they have the fear of future and their lives, and they also are only interested in pleasures of the senses. Beyond that, they cannot think. So they are narapashus. Bhagavatam calls them narapashus. They are animals in the human forms. But having got all these things, and having got a human birth, and having got a male birth, and why male birth, I'll come back to that. It's because in those days when Adi Shankara would have written this Viveka Chudamani, female or women were not having access to the Vedic literature. Their role in the society was defined differently. And while much before that they were Brahmavadinis or female rishis, and there was a parampara for that also, where women who took to this path of education in Vedas were also imparted. But perhaps I think during Adi Shankara times, this wasn't possible. So he practically says, see, being born as a human, not having access to this knowledge itself is a curse. So if you are very lucky, you will be born as a human, and you will be lucky to be born as a male child, because then you can have access to this knowledge, because in that time, the societal norms were such that Boys were being taught in the Gurukulams. They were having access to the Vedas. And those who were born as Vipra or whatever, a certain caste of people, were only getting access to that education. So many things went right for them, but this did not happen just like that. It was because of several lifetimes of hard work, sacrifices, sadhana, that finally it culminated into such an opportunity for them to be able to realize themselves. If you look at our educational system, the university was established on these ideals, Atmano Mokshartam Jagatahitaya cha, to redeem oneself and also to be of use to the society. And to come to this university, it is truly one of the greatest blessings that one can attain at this point in time. And this university does not discriminate like in old times between boys and girls. Boys also get the same quantity of education. Girls also get the same quality and quantity. So today perhaps Adi Shankara will have to go and modify his Viveka Chudamani a bit, just a bit. Not just Pumsatvam, but in our university, being a Stree also is equally good. The idea that equitable education, in fact equal education, whether you are a male or a female, boy or a girl, rich or poor, rural or urban, whether you have educated parents or illiterate ones, none of this matters in an institution like this. You are lucky, first blessing, you are born as human beings. Second blessing, in human beings also, you have that male female thing is not there anymore. You are born as a person who is pursuing this knowledge, who has access to this knowledge, I would say. That is the second blessing. Third blessing is what? You have access to the scriptural knowledge also, not just the academic knowledge. Lot of institutions give academic knowledge. Even government makes girls and boys education sort of free and compulsory till certain age. But here you have additional benefit of having access to scriptural knowledge, the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Brahma Sutras and all the other Prakarana Granthas, which is not given in another university, or many universities at least that I know of, a regular university. But you have access to that. Then you also have access to develop expertise in it. See, Vedic studies is a separate course which helps you to develop expertise in this particular field. While everybody learns Vedas and Upanishads, if you want to really dedicate yourself to learning it better, you have an opportunity again, a special opportunity. Fourth blessing. Fifth blessing, you learn over a period of time what matters in life and what does not matter, what is true happiness and what are paltry pleasures. This discrimination is the ability that you develop over a period of time in our education system. And that Atma and Atma Vivechanam you learn, how to discriminate between what really matters in life, what is good and what is just pleasurable. And then from there you learn how to experience the divinity within and without. When you serve selflessly, love selflessly, at that moment you are being divine. One boy wrote to me, an engineering graduate, Swami, this is the only institution where we are getting paid to do good and grow spiritually. Think of it. In a society like ours today, where do you get paid to do good or to grow spiritually? You grow spiritually, it is your prerogative. You want to attain God, you attain. You don't want to attain, nobody cares. Or to good to the society, it is your own initiative. If you have that heart, do. If you don't do, nobody is going to put a gun on your head and saying do good. Here, you are incentivized by being looked after so well that you can actually do good to society by doing service to society in our institutions, where service is the way of life. And in the process also grow spiritually. Has Atmano Mokshatam Jagat Hitaya not been realized then? It is being realized every time, every moment that you are here doing what you're doing. So you are very lucky. And then finally it says that you realize divinity within and experience that divine. I'm sure we do experience the divine, that pure selfless feelings, that pure divinity once in a while. And then again it gets kind of covered by our individuality at times, which we are working on our ego and attachments, working on our doership, enjoyership, and things like that. But if you continue on this path for long enough, you will attain it one day. Because that's your birthright, that is who you are. Nobody can deny you that. So this is the glory of this institution, where all these students are getting such wonderful education. And I was thinking, if Adi Shankaracharya was there today, not just he would have modified Viveka Chudamani's this verse, but also would have been thrilled to see how children are learning both para and apara vidya, and how they are growing both socially being relevant and also spiritually being strong. Both are happening simultaneously. In one of the exhibits in Paravidya exhibition, they had shown the Adi Shankara's Digvijay Yatra, Bharata Yatra. They had shown how he had walked all the length and breadth of this country to spread this idea of Sanatana Dharma, and how he established the initial four matas from where the knowledge of Vedanta was spread to the rest of the country and to the whole world today. So I was watching that and I was thinking about it. This occurred to me that Adi Shankaracharya would be so happy today, because he would see that this knowledge has not been restricted only to male, but it's also being given to the female child. In fact, to even staff, those who have missed out during their school days by not being a part of an education system like this, for staff also there is an opportunity for them to grow spiritually by learning these wonderful scriptures. And some of the staff who spoke during the orientation programs, they spoke so well about our scriptures. One of the doctors who spoke, Dr. Padmashri sitting here, she quoted from Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads. And I really had to sit up and take note that this is a medical doctor and not some Vedic teacher. And she spoke so well. I felt so happy that if our medical college is in the hands of doctors like this who know our scriptures and can quote in Sanskrit and explain it correctly, the meaning of it, I was very thrilled. I said then medical students also will become a little bit of jnani here and there. At least some hope is there for them. They will be redeemed at the end of it. I was very impressed that our teachers are also taking, and she said she learned Sanskrit after coming here. She had never read these scriptures before. Because where is the time for them? They're all the time mugging those Greek and Latin terms in their medical books. Where is the time for Sanskrit for them? But here she came, put effort, and so many teachers did that. So also we have a plan for how we want to grow and manage these institutions. And I have threefold approach: individual excellence, departmental excellence, and institutional excellence. As an individual also, you have three aspects again: your academic professional aspects, social aspect, that is your service and other thing, and spiritual aspects. So each of these departments presented how in all the three aspects of individual, departmental, and institutional excellence, further divided into three more parts of growing, working from the individual self, social part of it, and spiritual part of it. Academic, social, and spiritual, how they are implementing programs in their departments, how they're encouraging students as well as other staff to attend study circles, study Bhagavad Gita, and discuss all these ideas apart from doing whatever professional work they're doing. It really made me very happy, because this is the way for this institution. You can't just focus on one side of academics and become a brilliant institution and not have the spiritual backing for it. A lot of institutions are very brilliant. They are high-end, high-class educational academic institutions, but spirituality is missing there. Therefore, society is not getting any better than what it was before. Actually, it's getting worse, because the best of the best are getting all the education and they are doing only things for themselves selfishly, whereas the rest of them are left behind. Neither they can get an education nor they can look after themselves, and nobody looks after them as well. So this inequality in the society, especially gender inequality, and second, the inequality of getting both kinds of education, academic as well as spiritual, has been taken care of in our institutions. And that is why the university, which was founded in such a far away remote campus, even today it is remote. When you pass through that village, there is a Navanihala village on the way. People are still washing clothes on the roadside and defecating on the sides, and there are cows and buffaloes and kids all sitting together in the same barn. And life is still the same, which was probably 100 or 200 or 500 years ago there, except for a few housing things that have come up, concrete houses. Other than that, most of the life is the same in that village. That is the final village you cross to reach our institution. And I see life is the same for them, more or less. And here is a world-class institution that stands next to a village like that, which is teaching not just academic education, but spiritual education, and absolutely no cost, no discrimination whatsoever. Everybody has access to it. Whoever wants it, of course. And to want it should come from your previous Purva Janma Sukrutas. Not just one Janma, 100 crore Janmas. You should have done good to be a part of this university, so that you can grow both spiritually and socially and also get paid for it. Don't forget that. You don't have to sacrifice everything, volunteer here and work for food or something. No, you get your basic luxuries of life. You can look after your parents very happily, and then also look after your own spiritual welfare and social good. Everything is like, it's such a beautiful package. This is what I was impressing upon many of the students. They are young, sometimes they may not understand the value of it. It's like a boy who found a diamond while he took his goats for grazing. And then that diamond was so beautiful, a big piece of diamond, and he thought it's a nice stone. Let me tie it around my favorite goat. And he tied it around his favorite goat, it seems. And he was feeling very proud, admiring his goat, with the dazzling diamond in the neck, because he did not know its value. But when he came back, a diamond merchant from that town noticed that this goat is having a diamond around its neck. So he approached the boy and said, "Oh boy, where did you find this stone?" He said, "I found it in the hills while I was grazing my goats, and I've tied it to my favorite goat. Does it not look very beautiful?" He said, "Yes, of course, your goat is admirable, adorable, but then can you give me this stone? I'll give you 10 rupees for it." He said, "No, no, no, my goat looks very beautiful. I will not give this stone for 10 rupees. He said, "Okay, I'll give you 100 rupees. Will you give this to me?" He said, "No, 100 rupees is also too less. My goat looks very beautiful. I'll give you 1000 rupees." Then this boy started thinking, this stone must be special. Why is this man giving 1000 rupees for a piece of stone? He then played clever. He said, "No, I'm not going to give you." Then this man said, "I'll give you 10,000 rupees. Give me that stone." Then he understood that this stone is definitely worth more than that 10,000 rupees. That is why this man is offering it. So he went back to his friend who knew somebody, and he found out that it's a real diamond. That's when he realized the value of it. So sometimes in this institution, we do not realize the value of what is coming our way. Being young, being playful, being casual, we tend to forget the opportunity. This is the opportunity which Adi Shankara glorified in Viveka Chudamani. To be able to access this knowledge, whether you are man, woman, irrespective of that, and to be able to follow this Vedic path, to be able to do good for others and to your own spiritual welfare, and finally to realize the truth of divinity within. This is the opportunity of this institution, nothing less than that. And that is the opportunity these students are getting. I was very happy to see a lot of kids growing so well. They are good at sports, they were good at music, they were good at exhibitions, they were good at elocution, they were good at presentations of various programs and discipline. Everything has become better, and that made me very happy when I was watching the students grow so well in Gulbarga. And I told them, "See, this is the best thing that can happen to you in your life. You don't need anything else. You simply follow this path. Simply follow this path, you will do good to yourself and the whole society. You don't have to do anything else. Somebody has laid this royal road for your sake. Just walk on this, that's all. Don't get distracted, because when you're walking, sometimes you'll see turns on the right and the left, which will take you to other places that seemingly look more attractive and pleasurable. But then you know that this is the right road. This is where I should walk. I should not get distracted." So when you are young, distractions will come. I was talking to some of the students from the PUC in PUC means senior secondary in Gulbarga, and I asked, what happened to some of your classmates, why they did not join? You know what is the excuse they told? That they told me their classmates did not join because we don't give phones to them in the institution. I said, they are just 14, 15 years old. Why do they need a phone? And they have laptops, they have tabs, they have computer labs to access any of the digital things. They don't need phone. Phone is only for entertainment purposes they want. But some of them gave this answer, and I felt the next stanza of Adi Shankaracharya's Viveka Chudamani talks about such fools, where he says, such people who have, having got this human birth, having got access to the knowledge, access to all the Guru's wisdom, finally do not put efforts on the spiritual path, are like people who commit suicide. They have killed themselves. They are the mudhas, mudadi he says, the foolish, most foolish people on earth. So the next stanza applies to those who don't understand and waste this opportunity. So Adi Shankara knew there are people, even if you give all the opportunity, there are some of them who will not appreciate. And therefore, this is a waste of their opportunity and life. So I said, fine, that as long as you realize this value and make good use of it, it is still fine. But distractions in the world do sometimes make us deviate from this noble path. That is the time when you have to steady yourself by reading the scriptures. Scriptures are a great source of strength, you see. They go on reminding us of our true purpose in life. So read scriptures which is being taught and understand them, assimilate them, and experience the truth of those scriptures. Because these are not written yesterday or day before or 200 years back. These texts are coming from thousands of years of experience of thousands of people. So it cannot be wrong. Like gravity cannot be wrong. Whether you write about gravitational force in Italian or French or Portuguese or English or Sanskrit or Hindi or Kannada, doesn't matter. Everybody has experienced gravitational force, so it's true. Like that, this knowledge of the self has been experienced by thousands of sages across thousands of years. It can't be wrong. You may not be experiencing it today. It's not as simple as experiencing gravity. But it must be true because scriptures say, though Shastra Pramana is there. Then Tarkavada, if you start, debate it out. Is it true? Is it not true? And then Anubhava, experience it. That is what our scriptures tell. So this knowledge being accessible to young boys and girls. And I was asking these young boys, 6th, 7th, they've just joined. Some of them are just probably a week or 2 weeks old. Some of them are a year old in the system. I was asking them all these, what are the distractions in the world? They are telling worldly desires, attachments, laziness, all kinds of things. They knew all these, that this distracts them from the royal path. So theory has gone in. At least that much is. They become Vipras. Next is Vaidika Dharma Marga Paratas they have to become. Next you have to become, in that develop expertise and then go for further discrimination between right and wrong and choose the right over wrong, Shreya over Preyo, and then realize that Brahma Samstitihi, that self, the knowledge of the self, and then all the deeds and efforts of all your lifetimes have found fulfillment in this. One day I was traveling in one country and the host who was driving me, he said that, why is it that Swami, you remind us so many times that this is such a wonderful opportunity to be around you in this mission and do things as we are doing. Yet our mind continues to forget this and sometimes deviates and slips. Why does this happen? It was a very genuine and sincere question. It had to be answered. And I told him that if at all you remember the kind of efforts that you have put in your previous lives to reach where you are today, you would not waste even one single moment. Because we forget how many efforts, how much of sadhana we have done, how many sacrifices we have made just to get to this point where you are a part of this institution, we tend to lose the seriousness about it. It happens. At that point of time, scriptural truths remind us. At times, when you are confused and distracted, look around and see people. They are professionals. They have seen the world. They've been everywhere, done everything. Yet they are here for a reason. And the reason is not to further themselves in their career path and things like that. They're here because they're finding something greater than all that the world can offer them. And that is this truth of self. That is this opportunity to redeem oneself and also in the process help others. And for all these things, you don't even have to sacrifice. Just now, speaking to somebody, I said, this mission is different from every other mission. For me, spirituality is not about wearing some tatters, living in some thatched roof huts without electricity or running water or fan or any air conditioning, or walking barefoot without shoes or sandals, or eating some leftovers or food that you beg from houses, or cutting off ties with all your parents and all relations, and changing your name and changing your identity. None of this is required to be spiritual in today's times. You can be what you are. You can be an engineer, doctor, accountant, lawyer, or any other administrative staff, a sevadal, volunteer, devotee, student, professors, whatever you want. And you can wear well, you can eat well, you can live in a comfortable way, not be extravagant, as I mentioned earlier also. But what is needed for you to do what you have got to do, you deserve that, you're entitled to that. With that, you can lead a very happy, peaceful, and joyful life. Then I was telling the students, go down and write it in a piece of paper, your life plan. Just for clarity, your clarity. I don't need your clarity, but for you, your sake. What will be your dilemmas and difficulties at 20, what course to choose, whether my parents would agree, whether institution would support, so many things. At 25, once you finished your course curriculum, what is next? Where should I work? What should be my role in life? At 30, what will be after you have taken up whatever work you have taken up? I have to set up a family, I have to do this or not do this. At 35, what will be your life? At 40, what will be your life and your questions and your problems and confusions? At 45, what would be? Right till 60, I said. They sincerely wrote all of them. And some of them wrote honest answers, not just to please me or write something just to make me happy. They wrote their dilemmas, their difficulties, their issues at home, their non alignment with the system because of parents or because of their own inner issues. They wrote frankly. I said, good, now you know what are the problems. At least you're predicting some of these problems. Now sit and find answers to all of these. Practical answers. Don't give me some philosophy. Just practical answers. At 30, I'll be questioned. What about your family? How will you set up your family? How will you earn to feed the family? What will be your answer at that time? At 30, you'll be asked, your cousin is there doing something, earning that much. What are you doing? How much are you? What answers are you going to give to them? Then I assured them one thing, at the end of your career of 30 years, I will see to that you and your whatever the imaginary cousin both will be at the same level, if not more or less. Both would have earned enough, both would have got the same basic luxuries of life, and both, if you compare, in fact, you would be better. Why? Because you have got much more than him, because you have got spiritual wisdom also. You have served the society also, and not just run a profession all your life for your sake. Everything else, even if it's equal, you are still better than them because you have got some of these other benefits which generally the world does not offer. So you are already at the plus. If you just trust me and walk this path, 30 years down the line, you can thank me for having given you this opportunity. But even today, I told them, see, we are in PU. And all the PU means senior secondary people, and 9th and 10th students should listen to this. I told them, now compare yourself with a cousin of yours who studies in another school, which your parents and relatives keep talking about. You know he is like that. You know he is doing that. You know he is going to be that. You compare and say where you are standing vis-a-vis your whatever the cousin, imaginary or invisible or whatever prophetic cousin. Where is he? I tell you, you are already in plus of lakhs of rupees. Why? You have not spent anything for your education in the last 5, 6, 7 years. Your cousin has spent. You are already better. You are already in positive. They are in negative. So already you are seeing the benefits of being in the system. How can anybody question this? They cannot question. So think practically also. Don't give philosophical answers when people ask you. Think practical answers you should give. Practically, I am better than my closest cousin nearby. Why? Because I am already in positive. My cousin is in negative balance sheet. Why? Because 5 years he has spent 5 lakh rupees for his education, travel, food, and then at home he has been there, then he has done whatever is required. So, we are already better off than them. So you can imagine if already I have proven that you are going to be better off here, even financially or economically, then you can as well trust the next 30 years also. So I was telling these boys and girls, because they are young, you see, sometimes they would not understand, like that shepherd boy who does not understand that this is a piece of diamond. It is not some piece of stone. And this is not for tying around a goat's neck. This has a greater value than that. And this is something only a diamantaire or a merchant of diamonds can realize and tell you, that this is what is the value of this stone. So when your teachers tell you this is the value of this opportunity, your elders tell you, or the great devotees who are part of it tell you, believe them. If you don't believe all of them, believe me. If you can't believe me, go to the scriptures. Scriptures are thousands and thousands and thousands years of wisdom of thousands and thousands of people. It can't be wrong. So believe in the scriptures, you can go ahead. That is why scriptures are being taught to you. Not simply for you to memorize them like a parrot, but to experience the truth in the scriptures, the truth which is the distilled essence of the wisdom of all the sages of the past. And that is something that you should still believe and keep walking on this path. Anytime you feel a deviation or distraction, talk to somebody who is more steady. Don't go and confuse him also with your confusion. Talk to somebody who is steady, who has taken to the past, this path, who is 10 years ahead of you in this path. Talk to them. And nothing works, go back to the scriptures. Reread Bhagavad Gita. Reread the Upanishads. Read all kinds of things that have been taught to you. Even one stanza from one of these great Upanishads will take care of your confusion. So that is why you are taught all the stotrams and Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, so that it helps you to steady yourself on this spiritual path. May you all continue to follow this path. May you all lead this life that Adi Shankara eulogizes in his Viveka Chudamani, that this blessing is so rare to come by. It's already your lot, or you have already received it. All you have to do is simply walk on this path with steadiness. What did I say? 4 things: availability, ability, nobility, and stability. These are the 4 great virtues. Availability, to be available on this path, to be available to God. 2, ability, to put efforts to become capable of understanding and utilizing this opportunity. Nobility, with purest of intentions, with selflessness. And 4th, stability, because sometimes even on this path, Shurasya Dhara Nishita Duratya is walking on razor's edge. Sometimes there could be some confusion and deviation. At that point in time, go back to the scriptures, take refuge in them. in the wisdom of all the great sages and saints, and steady yourself and continue walking on this path. As long as you're walking on the right road, sooner or later you will reach your destination. There is no doubt about it. May you all achieve this in this very lifetime, not in some distant lifetime later, not in some hundreds and thousands and crores of births after this. May you all be blessed with that realization of the self, in which you will also find to true joy within, and also become a source of joy and goodness to the people without. These words of blessings I conclude.